Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Meaningful Monday. This is an interesting topic tonight about what fuels drama. Just to the preamble before I get into the lesson itself is just to remind everyone that Meaningful Monday is just really about creating more and more awareness about how we do create our own reality and how we do create our own happiness. Because sometimes people think happiness is something that we find or acquire or reach, when actually it's our choice every minute of every day how we perceive any situation and how we will or won't allow something to affect us. And that all depends on our viewpoint or our attitude. So every time we pick up topics, especially quite confrontational ones, I really do enjoy it. I think it might just give another angle to people to maybe see their lives a bit differently. And the purpose is to really alleviate suffering. And I just want to say that tonight's lesson is really, really important because drama leads to enormous suffering and it's unnecessary suffering. And let me tell you, it's my personal point of view, but I don't think anyone can say that they're excluded from drama in their lives. Drama happens all around us. If it's not us that's creating it, even if we don't think we are, we potentially are, then it could be that we got people very close to us. They're either in our immediate family or our friends or people in our workplace. But everywhere we go, there is, I'm just going to put you guys on mute that there's a bit of sound there. You can unmute yourselves at any time. I just want to say that now. You can unmute your microphones and talk to me at any time. I've just put some microphones on mute here because I heard some feedback. Okay, so as I was saying, drama shows up in everyone's life at some point, and it does cause suffering, and it actually is something that over time we become conditioned to expect it to happen or even to get used to it, that when it disappears, and we find ourselves living peaceful lives, a part of us goes back and tries to create it because we're not used to living without it. And I know that sounds terrible, but I'm going to say it up front here because it is true. Drama is an addiction. And just the same way as we're not inclined to want to admit the addiction we have with our mobile phones, we all have an addiction, unless you, quite special and are from another generation. But if you're from the generation where smartphones came in, when you were relatively young, we know that we're addicted. So drama is exactly the same. We are addicted to it, and when we don't have it, it's almost like we have to either create it or find it. So I'm going to start off there. I'm not saying that's for every single person. It depends on our level of emotional maturity and also our ability to recognize drama for just what it is. So when we get through this, maybe it'll help you to see drama just for what it is. And when you see it as something that's not really necessary, you'll be able to kind of just, let it just stop, let it just subside and create calm in your life. So I hope this lesson is going to be helpful. So this is really about what fuels drama, because as I said, drama shows up everywhere, but there's this one particular thing that not only fuels drama, it actually creates drama. And every single person does this at some point, and I would even be so bold as to say every single day we do this. So this is for everybody. If you're living and breathing, this is for you. So please don't take offense. I am quite direct, and I'm going to say things might upset you, might not upset you, but just take it from where it comes and have an open heart, have an open mind, because this is how we learn and get better. So getting into the lesson, the question is, so what does fuel drama? Well, what fuels drama is, let me just turn the slide, is one simple thing. Don't know if anyone can guess. Does anybody want to guess? If you want to guess, you can just unmute your mic. I'll give you a few seconds. Otherwise, I'll just go ahead and tell you. What fuels drama is basically making assumptions. So the reason that we are inclined to make assumptions is because we don't really like to ask questions as much as we should. So if anyone's done a coaching course, so I'm a certified coach, you have to actually be trained to ask questions and to be a good coach. So coaches ask questions. They don't like tell people what to do and how to live their lives. You ask questions to draw out from the individual their own understanding and clarity of their own lives. So this is just quite interesting to think that we have to train people to ask questions. And the reason for that is we don't naturally ask enough questions. Everyone's different. We've all got different degrees of it. Some do more than others. I'm not saying we don't. But as a natural inclination, the reason we don't ask questions is because a part of us at a deep subconscious level doesn't like to be seen as not understanding, or doesn't like to be seen as being dumb or being stupid or not knowing the answer or not just knowing, So asking a lot of questions, depending on the person, may at a deep subconscious level be slightly uncomfortable, so people don't tend to do it. So what happens then is you don't have the courage to ask enough questions, and then our brain makes up the rest of the story. So then we make these assumptions. The same thing goes for when we actually want something, especially in relationships. We want something, we don't really express clearly what it is that we want. And this can then lead to misunderstandings. And misunderstandings is always going to lead to drama. And of course, drama is going to lead to unhappiness or sadness. So this particular lesson tonight on drama, I can tell you now, if you take the insights here and just try to really actively apply it in your life, I'll say it hands down, it can transform your life. It can transform your relationships. All it takes is a willingness to try a different approach actively and intentionally. But we do need to not carry on autopilot. So when you get to the end of this lesson, the suggestion is just very simple, but you do need to be intentional and willing to apply it. And my suggestion is go right ahead and apply it immediately into any relationship that you have that you are struggling with in your life right now. Right. Here, let me just read you this. It says, the problem with making assumptions is that we believe they are the truth. Don't read further. Just think about this. The problem with making assumptions is that we, so the ones who make the assumption, ourselves, we believe these things to be actually to be true. So we make the stuff up in our head, and now this becomes truth for us. So we make an assumption, we misunderstand, and now we take it personally. I want to suggest that if anyone didn't see the Meaningful Monday on taking it personally, go back to the YouTube channel, it's Silva Method Australia, and go and listen to the lesson on taking it personally, because even in this example, when we make an assumption and we misunderstand, we take it personally, then we react to this whole idea in our head that we've misunderstood. And we start to get all emotional and upset about this. And then we start to lash out with our words. And that's what it says, sending emotional poison. This means that you lash out. You complain, or you shout at the person, or you express your, like how little you appreciate what's going on, or your anger, or whatever it may be. And then this creates a whole lot of drama. But from the very beginning, it may have been an assumption and not actually any truth whatsoever. So have a look at that, taking it personally. And as I carry on, just make a note there for yourself. So the way to kind of avoid this is just to know that it's always better to ask questions than to make assumptions. Because assumptions just, as I said, set us up for suffering. But what happens is this. As I said, we're afraid to ask. It's a conditioned response. We don't ask enough questions. So this is the point of the whole lesson, is to ask more questions. So when we're afraid to ask, naturally we got to fill in our brain what is the story, because our brain needs to understand. If there's lack of understanding or lack of logic, you get a kind of feeling of anxiety. You may not even be aware of it. It might be even at a subconscious level. So we have to fill in the information, even if it's rubbish, even if it's garbage, even if you just made it all up. We just make stuff up and put it in our head and fill the gaps. And then even if it's true or not true, it doesn't matter. If it's rubbish or not rubbish, as long as we've got it in our head, we kind of, can relax a bit, because now we've filled in the story. So now what happens is we make this assumption, but the problem is that we believe now we are right. So whatever went in our head, we made the stuff up, We jump to conclusions, and now we believe it. What happens now is, if someone starts to say to you, no, that's not true. It's not how it is. I didn't mean to hurt you when I did that. I didn't mean to say that. When we defend our assumptions. So now we're starting a fight, because now we're defending the assumption, which in the first place wasn't true to begin with. And when we start defending our assumptions, all we're doing is trying to make someone else wrong. Not because that's our objective. It's a consequence of making ourselves right. So we've made this stuff up, and now we have to defend it. So we have to make ourselves right. And in this, you're going to keep telling someone else that they're wrong and that they haven't seen it your way. In actual fact, you've never tried to understand it from the beginning. So you're not really seeing it for what it truly is. And in making the other person wrong, this miscommunication is just going to keep spiraling out of control, because the source is the first line, afraid to ask. So we don't even have all the information. We don't know the whole story. We really don't know the whole story. There's even information to say that we don't even know our own story, because we don't know in our deep subconscious programming what it was that popped in when we didn't ask enough questions to create those assumptions in the first place, and where they came from. You're not even consciously aware of that. So when I say you don't even know your own story, is you might have had something happen to you when you're 1 year old, 2 years old, or 3 years old. It's conditioned you in a certain way, and this is how you react. So some people, as an example, will be insecure. Without asking questions or understanding, they will watch somebody do something, and their insecurity is something at a deep subconscious level that triggers something in them. And then now they're not going to ask questions to clarify why the person's behaving that way. They just make assumptions. Whatever it is, you don't love me, you don't care, I'm not your priority, whatever it may be. We believe this to ourselves that we're right. We then bring something up if we can't hold it back, and then we get into a conversation. The person says, absolutely not, it's not like that at all. And then we defend and start a fight. But the initial thing that filled in the information, because we didn't ask enough questions, could be complete nonsense in the first place. And when I say we don't know the whole story, we don't even know our own story. That's what I mean when I say that. So people make assumptions and don't take time to ask about individual experiences. We need to ask specifically what it is that we want to know, and keep asking questions until we really understand it fully and understand the other person. You see, here it is. We don't like to admit we don't understand. So we pretend that we do. And our assumptions are often wrong. I'm happy to say our assumptions are most often wrong, because we filled it in from our own paradigm and our own conditioning. And we will never know exactly why a person does what they do or says what they say, unless we really take the time to understand it. And I know it seems like, no, we do know this person. I've known them for 20 years. And it's not true. We see the world through our own lens, and we see the world through our own conditioning, because our perception on how we see the world is determined by our conditioning. So an insecure person sees this situation completely differently to a secure person. You can just know this from your friends or relatives or people that you know. If you know anyone, I'm just using insecurity as an example. It's not the whole lesson, it's just an example. We know how totally differently two individuals behave when the one is secure and the other one is insecure in the same situation. So that's just an example there. Okay. Some people can't find happiness in their life unless they're creating drama. How many people in your life do you know? I know people in my life. They're close to me. Some are in my own family. I can admit that. They create drama when everything's peaceful and harmonious. They actually are like a piranha. If you know what a piranha is, it's a fish that can eat other fish alive. A piranha can only go so long without eating, and then it has to eat. It's like an obsession. This thing has to just get a feed. So some people are like that with drama. Drama, let me just put this on the slide. Drama is an addiction. I'm putting it here because you have to know that it's an addiction. And when I say it's an addiction as real as cocaine or drugs or whatever a person can be addicted to. So people who are used to drama, when there isn't any, as this quote here says, they're actually unhappy when there's nothing going on. So then they go and they create it. And when they create it, some part of them is kind of relieved, like the anxiety is alleviated because drama shows up again, and it's like the piranha getting its feed. It has to feed again. So if it doesn't have any food that's going on in the family or in the workplace or in the friendship circle, then they'll go and create it. And the minute it's created, now it's back, things are back to normal in the world. So there just is, drama stands for drawing ridiculous attention and making an ass of yourself. It is about attention. That's why it's important to actually watch the previous Meaningful Monday. I don't think it's the last one, it's the one before that, called Taking It Personally, because people who are involved in drama or are finding themselves always in drama in their lives need to understand that the reason that they're struggling with drama is because they're taking a lot of things personally when everything is not about you. It's always about the other person. So nothing is actually personal. But within the drama sphere, we take everything personally. And in this example here, it says, drawing ridiculous attention. It's like we need that attention. And if we don't get it, we're going to create it, even if it means we're going to upset the whole apple cart and cause trouble. Okay, so let's talk about relationships. You know, this is where drama really shows up. I'm just going to say making assumptions in relationships is big, big trouble. So I'm going to put a few things down, and I want you to just take your time and think these things through and think about any relationship in your life right now where your emotional bank account is in the red. That's the best way of putting it. Any relationship you have that's not making you so happy. Just think about this. We assume our partners know what we think. It's true. We do assume our partners know what we think. We assume our partners know what we feel. So something happens, we are so upset, and we assume that they know how we feel because they should know by now how I feel. I've been together with you for so many years, or we've been in a relationship for so long, or married for so long, or family for however long. So we just think, you should know how I feel. You would know that this is going to upset me. I'm going to say it again. We're assuming. We're assuming our partners know what we want. And what we want means we didn't get something and we got something else instead, and they should just know this. Or we assume that they know what we're going through. So something happens, we are very upset, nothing's working out the way it should, we're feeling really down, and now we assume that they know exactly what we're going through. I'm not saying they don't know what's happened. Maybe they don't know what you're going through, because remember, the way that you see the world is the way that you are conditioned. It's your perception filter. It's never going to look the same for some other person. Two people will never ever see the same thing from the same point of view. They'll never have the same lens, because we all have a different conditioning, and your paradigm determines your perception. Perception is the biggest field in psychology. You can look that up, but no one's going to see things the same way. So assuming that they know what we're going through is, again, it's just an assumption. It's not true. We often don't say anything. We get upset and we withdraw. So we shut ourselves down. We don't talk. We don't speak. We get quiet. We remove ourselves from a situation. And we now assume that they know exactly what we're experiencing, and we assume that they can read our mind. So we don't say what it is that we actually want. We don't express it. We don't communicate. And then when they don't do what we assume they should do, then we get hurt. If we start having a dialogue about how hurt we are, we start having an argument, and this is going to come out. You're going to say, but you should have known. You should have known. How long have you known me? How long have I been involved with you? How long have I been married to you? Whatever it may be. You should have known. I'm going to say it again. Making assumptions in relationships is big, big trouble. We're really asking for trouble. Because we assume, because they know us so well, that they know what we want, that they can just read us, but it's not true. So we get upset because they fail to meet our expectations. And remember, expectation breeds frustration. That's in the previous Meaningful Monday. If you want to watch that, it was all about expectation and acceptance. Expectation breeds frustration. So they're never going to behave the way we want, and now they've failed. So this is going to lead to a lot of fights. This is going to lead to a lot of difficulties, a lot of misunderstandings, and it's really with the people that we're supposed to love. So this is quite an important lesson if we look at it from this point of view and start to see what is this thing about making assumptions and how does it originate? And let's just take the time to think this through in this lesson, because it might seem obvious, but unless you repeat it and take the time, does the penny not actually drop to think, I need to change the way I'm doing things to get a different result? Because up to now, if it's not working and you're feeling drama and you're upset, then you do need to take a different approach. Welcome, whoever just joined there.
Hi.
So, hi. Hello, welcome. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay. No need to apologize. There's other people who aren't here also. It's okay. So to replace the need to communicate is what we end up doing. We should communicate. We should communicate so fully and keep asking and asking and asking questions to really understand exactly where the other person is without, after one question, this is what we often do. We ask one question and the person might say, well, I don't really, let's just say it's with your child. I'm not very happy. What's the matter? So now you're asking questions. You think you're doing the right thing. Maybe the child says, I don't like school. So instead of asking another 20 questions, we might just jump in and start assuming there and then, oh, of course, I knew that, and I bet you feel this way. And all we want to do is come across as the person who really understands, like we have the knowledge and we know. Instead of really communicating deeper by asking more and more questions. So if they tell us something, we make assumptions. If they don't tell us something, we make assumptions. Either way, depending on how much or how little information they give us, we still go around making assumptions. And this is causing all the upsets. This is causing all the difficulties and the miscommunication and the drama. So we make all these sorts of assumptions because we don't have the courage to ask enough questions. It keeps coming down to that. Now, when it comes to relationships, when we believe something, we assume we are right about it to the point that we will destroy relationships in order to defend our position. This may sound really extreme to some people, but you know that it's very true. This is not my opinion. This comes from reading and finding information on this lesson out of books. And when I read this, I gave a lot of thought and I went to research a bit deeper to see, is this really true? And it's so true, because when we make an assumption, because we created the information in our head, and as I said in the beginning, we believe it to be true, then we're going to defend it. And we're going to keep defending it, and we're going to keep fighting with the other person in our defense, even if it means we destroy the relationship. I'm just going to try to mute that other microphone. Sorry, thank you. Okay, so this, as crazy as it sounds, this is really true. We make the assumption that everyone sees life the way we do. We assume that others think the way we think, that others feel the way we feel. We assume that they hurt the way that we hurt. We assume that people judge the way we judge. Now, hear this. When I say we assume that people judge the way we judge, exactly whatever happens, the way we judge that situation, and it wasn't right, it wasn't fair, we think everyone sees that same viewpoint, but they really don't. So the way we judge, we think others judge the same. They really don't. And in all of this, as I said, we're taking it personally. You've got to believe and accept that people don't have your view of the world. They just don't. You have to know that, and you have to accept that and be okay with that. So how we resolve relationships and have less drama is to ask more and more questions, to try as best as we can to see the world through other people's eyes and get into their view of the world by asking questions and never saying, oh, right, okay, so in other words, this is what you and you think, this is what you, don't even do that, never. Just keep going with more questions until you really do understand the other person fully. This is quite interesting. We justify ourselves in relationships. What I mean by this is, look at this quote. It says, never again will I justify the scars just because I love the person holding the knife. Never again will I justify the scars just because I love the person holding the knife. So what happens is when we start a relationship with someone that we like, then you justify why you like them. You justify why you like them to yourself and to your family and to your friends, to whoever you introduce them. You justify why you like them. So what happens when you do this through our perception filter? We only see what we want to see in this person. And we don't see what we don't want to see in this person. How many people do you know that you said to them, why are you with that partner? Like they got this and this and this, like, you know, you could do better, or there's so many things, and you just don't see it, and that even upsets you to hear that. It's because we justify ourselves in our relationships and only see what we want to see, and we don't see what we don't want to see. So you're going to just deny the things you don't like. You'll even lie to yourself just to make yourself right. And it might not last forever, but in the beginning and for a while, you're going to be doing that. Right, then you come to this assumption at some point that if something happens in the relationship and they're not exactly perfect and they're not this everything was right for them image. So what happens is then you start believing that my love will change this person. Yeah, I love them, and my love for them and my influence for them and the way that I love them will change this person. So we live in this eternal hope that the things that are not right with the person will change because of our love for them. It's not true. It's never going to be true. Your love will change nobody. People change only when they want to change. Not because you want them to change, or not because you love them, or you didn't love them, or you loved them so much, or you forgave them for everything they did or didn't. No. People only change if they want to change. So then what happens is something goes wrong between the two of you and you get hurt. Suddenly now you see what you didn't want to see before when you were justifying the relationship. And now this thing that they've done wrong is amplified because of your emotional pain. And what happens now? You blame them for your choice. But when you got into the relationship, those things they didn't like were already there, but you justified the relationship. So now we blame them. We blame them for our choices. It's an interesting way to view this, isn't it? It's quite, for me, when I first started to prepare this, I found this very interesting. Now, that's not love. Because love is accepting people exactly as they are. If we try to change people, it means we don't like them. We don't like them. We're not meant to like everybody. My God, if we were meant to like everybody, this world would be, very different to what it is. Everyone would be, I don't know, it would just be different. We have different tastes, and it's right. We have different tastes and different tastes for a reason. We're not going to like every single person on the planet, and that's fine. It's really fine. But if we try to change people, it means that we don't actually like them just the way they are. And that's also okay. But be honest with yourself, and if it's not right, then make the change, move on, or do what you need to do. But just remember that starting a relationship with someone that you initially liked and fell in love with, you are going to justify those people in your relationship. So that's why the statement says, never again will I justify the scars just because I love the person holding the knife. So we're not meant to try to change people. If we want to remove all the drama and the negativity and the misunderstanding and the pain and the arguments, we need to ask more questions. We need to understand that person. And maybe through understanding them, you realize that you don't like them. And maybe they're not right for you, which is fine. But to cling on to this thing that you're going to be able to change them because there's some things you don't like is not the way to go. We're not here to change anyone. We either love and accept someone as they are, or we find someone else that we have much more common ground with, because that's really that's why people get together. People generally get together because they share a lot of common ground. And that's why I say initially, you're only going to see what you want to see, and then you don't see what you don't want to see. But then years later, when it shows up, now we blame them for our choice. I love this quote. It says, if you don't love yourself, you'll always be chasing after people who don't love you either. This is so true. The more we love ourselves, the better we get treated, because we treat ourselves well when we love ourselves well, and everything is a vibrational match to who we are. So if our love for ourselves is high, we will have experiences that are vibrational match to that high. People will love us just that way. If we have no self-love and no self-worth, people treat us really badly. We know this if we think about people in abusive relationships. Some people will be in abusive relationships and they'll go from one abusive relationship to another. Why will they keep having all this abuse? People think they're crazy. They go from one to the next. They do it again. They do it again. Why? Because they don't have enough self-love. They only get treated as much as they love themselves. The same as some people will never have abusive relationships. Never. The slightest bit of abuse, they're gone. In fact, they would have intuitively sussed that out even before the relationship could begin, and they wouldn't have gone there in the first place. Why? They have a very high level of self-love. So this quote's important. If you don't love yourself enough, you are going to suffer, because you're going to be chasing after people who don't love you either. And you're going to be looking for love in all the wrong places. Okay, so here are 4 steps to transform drama, remove drama, and transform your life. So the first thing, which is the whole foundation here, is stop making assumptions. We do it. We all do it. There's not a person who's excluded from this. It's a natural way the brain is wired. When information is missing, we fill it in. I'm here to encourage and ask you and plead with you and suggest to you that don't fill in that information when it's missing. When something's not making you happy, don't go fill it in yourself and make an assumption, oh, they are behaving that way because, and you fill it in. Don't do that. Stop making stuff up. That's what it boils down to. Don't jump to conclusions. The person is acting that way because of this, or they said it that way because of that. Don't. Believe people want to do the right thing. Change your mind and believe that people all want to do the right thing, because the truth is, everybody is doing their best from their level of awareness. And as much as some people don't like to hear this, that's the truth. Even the man who's murdering someone, he is doing the best that he perceives is that from his level of awareness. So believe people want to do the right thing. Don't make any assumptions, make things up, or jump to conclusions. What are we going to do? How to keep from making assumptions? I've said it before. I'm sure you've got it by now. We're going to reinforce it. Ask questions. And keep asking questions. Don't have one question, and when you get the first answer, immediately jump to conclusions that you know the rest of the story. Ask more questions. And when you get that information and you think you know what's going on now, ask more questions. And make sure that the communication is clear. And make sure that you've got absolute clarity as to where the other person is. And if there's anything that they say that you don't understand, ask. Ask. Keep asking. Here's a quote from Miguel Ruiz. He wrote the 4 Agreements. He says, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstanding, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. And it's absolutely true. So find your voice to ask for what you want. And it is about finding your voice, and it is about being courageous enough to ask a lot of questions, because as I said, we don't want to seem like we don't know what's going on. Now, the day you stop making assumptions with your partner or family member or whoever it is, and eventually with everyone else in your life, the way that you communicate is going to change completely. Your relationships are going to improve, and you're no longer going to have the conflicts that you're experiencing right now, because maybe we can't see it for what it is, because they're all created from really making assumptions. So just keep asking questions, and if you don't understand anything, just keep asking more questions until you do. If we all did this, all our problems would be resolved. As optimistic as that may sound, it's really true. Now, as I said, this is easier said than done. This can be so obvious, and it's really simple. Just ask, ask, ask. But it is easier said than done. It requires a whole new habit. We are not only conditioned not to ask questions, but to fill in our own information, not to sound like we don't know what's happening. But it's our habitual behavior, and we've been doing it for years and years and years. But just having this knowledge from this webinar is not enough. Understanding doesn't cut it. Understanding isn't enough to fix your relationships where drama shows up. We actually have to do something different. We have to take different action, and not just one time, over and over and over again. Every day, make an effort with everybody that you're interacting with to ask more questions. And don't say, oh, I bet you feel like this. I'm sure you, whatever that. Ask questions and try to develop a new habit. Even when there's no conflict, just try getting in the habit of asking more questions to understand someone else. And this alone, as I said, can completely transform your life. So I love this t-shirt. I found it online. I thought, let me put it into this presentation. It says, maturity starts when drama ends. We have to come to a decision where we say, I don't want drama in my life. And if you say that with intention, your life can become that, drama-free. But I wrote there, lead your life. Because if you expect someone else to remove the drama, or if there's someone in your life that has all this drama and keeps creating it, don't blame them and say, well, I can't get rid of the drama in my life because, so-and-so keeps creating it. Take the lead. Lead your life. If you change, you'll become a positive influence. Don't get caught up in it. And don't talk about other people. Don't gossip. That's the worst thing you can do. There's drama going on and we're sharing it with someone else. That's the worst. Do not do that at all. So be a positive influence and take the lead. So in summary, keep your life really simple. Decide you want a simple life. You don't want to have a complicated, drama-filled life. And then go about removing drama every day. Recognize it for what it is. And what I mean by that is recognize drama as an addiction. Understand if you see yourself, needing some attention, something to go, it's too quiet, it's too peaceful. Recognize that inside yourself, and I don't know, say the serenity prayer if you need to do something to help yourself stay on track. But don't slip into your old habit and get wrapped up in it. Kick the addiction. Understand it's an addiction. And then decide you want to be happy, because being happy is not something that you find, it's something that you be, that you are every day. No matter what's happening, choose happiness. No matter what's happening, choose to become unconditionally happy. It's a choice to say, I'm going to be unconditionally happy. I'm going to be happy no matter what is going on around me. And if things are not that great around me, I'm going to be as happy as I can be under those circumstances. And then be open. What I mean by that is be the open-hearted person who asks questions openly, not assuming anything, to draw in the person and draw in the information and draw in the understanding that we start to really want to see the world from someone else's shoes, someone else's viewpoint. And then you can enjoy the freedom. And the freedom is the freedom from the drama. You will have better relationships than you've ever had. You'll have better connections with people than you've ever had. And the drama will start to fade away. And if you're in the proximity of someone who you can actively see is creating it, shut it down. Don't let it perpetuate. So How do we do all of this? The same thing I've said from the beginning throughout. Ask. Just have ask in your head. Ask, ask, ask. Ask more and more and more questions. If you're not happy, don't assume anything. Ask. And if you still don't know exactly what's happening, ask some more. And just keep asking. And go a level deeper each time with very good questions. And the other thing about asking is try to ask open questions, not closed questions. Like, so do you really think this and that? It's a yes or no. Because now you're putting words in the mouth. You're like leading the witness. You know, don't have a yes or no answer. Ask open questions. You know, how did you feel when that happened? Or what did you see was happening here? Or what factors do you think are contributing to this? Or what should be done? Like what questions, how questions, when questions, things like that, not closed questions, and keep the conversation beautiful and open. Okay. Are there any questions at this point? It was an interesting conversation. I'll unmute you guys. Are there any questions? No? It's
no,
okay.
I just want to say hello.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I want to add something to what you said, and it's what my father used to say, and your grandfather. He always used to say, a man is as happy as he makes up his mind to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you said before, but a man is as happy as he makes up his mind to be. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
So that's very true.
And the other thing is one of the 7 habits of highly successful people is seek first to understand before being understood. I'm just going to mute some lines here. There's a bit of a noise. Okay. So that's the end of that. If you have any questions, you can either write them in the chat box or you can just unmute your mic and let me know. Otherwise, let's get ready for the guided meditation. So grab yourselves a pen and paper. Start getting yourselves relaxed in a comfortable position. And we're going to begin in just a few seconds. Okay. So hopefully you've got a pen and paper handy. Sit in a position that requires the least movement for you to write answers. So you just literally open your eyes, write, close your eyes. You don't have to move your arms and anything around. And at the end, we're going to ask the questions just to help get some guidance from your higher wisdom and guide you in your life, like from your intuition. And you get that best when you're in a deep, relaxed state. So the first part of the meditation is just to relax you deeply. If you get answers, great. If you don't get answers, great. There's no right, there's no wrong. Whatever comes up for you, just trust it and go with that. Okay, so this is really about setting your intention for the month, and we do this once we've reset our energy, reset and cleansed our body and our mind, and this meditation is going to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to put my video off for a second while we do this. Just find yourselves a comfortable position if you haven't already. Close your eyes. And take a deep belly breath in. And as you exhale, just release all the tension in your body with every breath. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just release. And just continue to take in deep belly breaths, as deep in as you can. Hold it for a second or two. And then as you release, relax your body and let all your tensions just kind of melt away. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, begin to feel your body relaxing. Feel the tension leaving your scalp. Feel the top of your head relaxing and slowly moving down the rest of your scalp. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, just relax your forehead now as well. Now relax your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your tongue. Relax your jaw. Really relax your jaw. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw. Relax your neck. Take in another deep breath. And as you exhale, relax your shoulders, your arms, and your hands. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel the tension leaving your back. All the way down your back. Now relax your chest. Relax your stomach. Relax your hips and pelvic area. Taking another deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet all the way down to your toes. You are now experiencing a deep state of relaxation. Now you're going to create in your mind an ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined, either some place that you've actually been, or maybe some place that you'd like to go. But just allow it to be a place where you feel totally and truly relaxed. Now begin to experience this place right now. Now that you have created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. This light is healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of white light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under the white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. Feel it clearing the stress, the tension, and the clutter of the day. Feel this waterfall of white light clearing the clutter and tension and stress of the past week and of the entire month before, the whole of November. Now feel it clearing all the clutter and the tension and the stress of the entire past year. And as it pours over you and cleanses your energy, feel it clearing the energy from your entire lifetime. Your entire energy field, your atmosphere, your aura is being cleared by this beautiful white healing light. And now, as the light clears your energy and you're feeling clearer, just notice how much happier you look. Feel that sense of freedom and clarity as this white light pours over you. Notice the smile on your face. See how the weights that you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just relax deeper and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health. Keep in mind that from now on, I will occasionally be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. Unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All those hurts you felt, all those pains you felt, the angry moments, allow this green light, this unconditional love, to flow through you and heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. And you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered and energized. You are able to think more clearly, focus more easily. You feel as though you are in the flow of universal love and energy. Now just take a moment to bask in this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month. It's now time to set your intention for the month, the last month of the year, December. Tune into your inner wisdom now. Tune into your higher self, the part of you that when you tuned in, guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. I'm going to count backwards from 10 to 1. When we reach the count of 1, you will have tuned in to your higher self or your intuitive self, the part of you that knows what's best for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now tuned in to your intuitive self, the part of you that when you tuned in guides you and knows absolutely what is best for you. Feel this alignment with your higher self. Feel the connection. And now ask yourself the following questions. Number 1, what do I need to focus on for the month of December? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Your first impressions are the best. Don't judge them, just write them down. And then take a deep breath, close your eyes and re-enter your meditation. So, what do I need to focus on for the month of December? Next question. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Whatever pops up for you, just write that down. Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Then just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and go back into meditation. The next question, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? And lastly, what else do I need to know? Or is there anything else I need to know? So now just allow a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax. You can bring your attention back to your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, have a big stretch, and blessings to all of you. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I hope that was helpful. I hope you got some answers that you can apply. Just remember, whatever came up for you is truth. It's something that you could trust. It will never lead you wrong. So if you did get any answers which were helpful, my only advice is to definitely act on them. And that's the most important thing. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the Meaningful Monday lesson. Just to tell you what's coming up. Oh dear, I never corrected this. So next time is not What Fuels Drama. That was this time. Sorry, I haven't updated that banner there. The next Meaningful Monday, let me just check, it's in January. And it is the 7th of January. So I will announce it closer to the time. But I just wanted to suggest that for the month of December, that each and every one of you just take the time and do this. There's actually a Meaningful Monday recorded last December, which was about reflection. It's called Reflection for Growth. I would really encourage a person to do that every single December of their lives. It takes a few hours, but it really is worth it. But in short, it's about reflecting on the year thoroughly by actually going through your calendar. And a good way to also know what you did is to go through the photos in your phone. It takes hours, but as you go through the photos in your phone, you will see your whole year before your eyes, actually just like kind of rolling. And you just take a piece of paper and divide it in half and just write down all the moments that were high moments in the year. And then on the other side of the line, you write, what did you learn, or what could you be better at next year from what took place this year? So the full detail of how to do this is in that other Meaningful Monday called Reflection for Growth. Share it with other people. It's a very worthwhile exercise. John Maxwell does this himself. He takes 2 weeks every year, 2 full weeks to do his Reflection for Growth in December. So if he can take 2 weeks and he's such a role model, we can surely take, a couple of hours and do that for ourselves. Otherwise, as we wrap up the end of the year, just to tell you, the next Silva Method class is going to be in February for Australia, and the one after that is in April. There is a class in South Africa, so thank you, Liesel, for being on the call here with us. I will talk to you about it some more. So there's a South African Silva Method class. So please share this information with as many people as you can, because we do need the bookings and we need them soon to confirm all the arrangements. And then Silva Kids in Australia is in April. So just a reminder, at least one parent needs to be a Silva graduate for your kids to join Silva Kids. And they can come to any one of those classes there before the Silva Kids event. Alternatively, any child from 8 years and up can come to the normal Silva Method 4-day program with adults, so that's also fine. And then just a reminder, so next week, for anyone who has not done the Silva Method, please watch this webinar next week, Wednesday. It's called the 4 Key Skills to Take Charge of Your Life. It's based on the Silva Method, and it's about those 4 skills there: how to remain calm and focused, even under pressure, how to have clear and meaningful goals, and how to actually achieve them and achieve them quicker. A big deal about limiting beliefs and how to overcome that. And then lastly, how to make better decisions in our lives and recognize opportunities. And that's by trusting and tapping into our intuition. So if you know anyone who needs this more than you do, please share this with them. Next week, Wednesday, the 12th of December, it's earlier than the one tonight. It starts at 7:30. So they can book via Eventbrite. Just put in Eventbrite and the 4 key skills in my name, and it'll come up. Or you can go to my website, which is at the bottom there, or the Jeanine Sciacca International website, and get the link. But the best is to go to Eventbrite, because you'll get a confirmation with that booking. So my suggestion is go to Eventbrite. So that's that for tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Meaningful Monday. Let me just stop the recording.